May 12, 2025, 2:34 p.m., Maiquetía, Venezuela. The cargo ships arrive from Shanghai. 8 Type 071 amphibious transport docks, Chinese military vessels in Venezuelan waters, not a combat deployment. Officially, it's military technical cooperation. The ships carry containers, heavy equipment, and something Venezuela has never had before. HQ-9 air defense systems, China's most advanced export SAM, equivalent to Russian S-300. Range 200 kilometers. Altitude 30 kilometers. Capable of engaging stealth aircraft. Or so China claims. President Maduro stands at the port. Chinese military officials beside him, cameras rolling. Venezuela now possesses the technology to defend our airspace against any aggressor. Our Chinese partners have provided us with the shield we need. The message is directed north, at the United States, at American aircraft that routinely patrol near Venezuelan airspace, at the F-35s and F-22s that Venezuela can't track, can't target, can't stop. Until now. Navy warfare reveals what happened when the United States decided to test that claim. The deployment was years in the making. 2022. China began courting Venezuela aggressively. Billions in loans, infrastructure investment, oil development contracts. Venezuela needed the money. Their economy was collapsing. Western sanctions were biting. China offered a lifeline. But China wanted something in return. Military access, a foothold in the Western Hemisphere, a permanent presence 90 miles from the U.S. mainland. Venezuela agreed. In 2023, Chinese military advisors arrived. Port facilities were upgraded to handle planned vessels. Airfields were extended to accommodate Chinese aircraft. The groundwork was laid. 2024. The relationship deepened. Chinese surveillance ships operated from Venezuelan ports. Electronic intelligence facilities were built on Venezuelan territory. Everything was technically legal. Sovereign nations can host foreign military personnel. But the United States watched with growing concern. May 2025, the HQ-9 deployment begins. 4 batteries. Each battery includes 8 TEL vehicles, 1 engagement radar, 1 tracking radar, and support equipment. Total, 32 launchers. Each launcher carries 4 missiles. Total, 128 surface-to-air missiles. That's enough to create an air defense bubble over most of northern Venezuela, including the capital, including the oil fields, including the military bases. American aircraft that previously operated freely near Venezuelan airspace now face a real threat. The HQ-9 can reach them, can shoot them down. That changes the strategic picture. May 15th, Pentagon assessment. The HQ-9 is a capable system, not as advanced as our Patriots, but effective against fourth-generation aircraft. Against F-15s, F-16s, older platforms, it's dangerous. Against fifth-generation stealth? Unknown. China claims the HQ-9B variant can detect and track stealth aircraft. We're skeptical, but we need to know for certain. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs asks the obvious question, can we test it? The room goes quiet. Testing means flying American aircraft into Venezuelan airspace. That's provocative, potentially illegal, definitely risky. But the intelligence value is enormous. If the HQ-9 can track F-35s, that's critical information. It affects operations worldwide, every theater where Chinese air defense might be deployed. Taiwan, South China Sea, everywhere. The decision goes to the president, who authorizes a classified mission. Test the Chinese air defense. Find out what it can actually do. May 18th, USS America positions offshore. The America-class amphibious assault ship is technically not an aircraft carrier, but it operates F-35B Lightning II stealth fighters, 12 of them, plus helicopters and support aircraft. USS America takes position 150 miles north of Venezuelan coast, international waters, legal presence. The ship conducts routine training operations. That's the official story. The real mission: 4 F-35Bs will penetrate Venezuelan airspace, test the HQ-9 radar, Gather electronic intelligence. Determine if China's stealth detection claims are real. And do it without getting shot down. May 19th, 4:47 a.m. Mission briefing. 4 Marine Corps pilots in the ready room, all experienced, all F-35 qualified. The mission is explained. You will conduct a freedom of navigation overflight near Venezuelan airspace. If Venezuelan air defense activates, you will collect emissions data. If they achieve radar lock, you egress immediately. Under no circumstances do you allow weapons launch. The pilots understand. This is intelligence gathering, not combat. The goal is data, not destruction. But they're flying into hostile airspace, with advanced SAMs tracking them. One mistake means death. They suit up, walk to their aircraft. The F-35Bs are armed. AIM-120 AMRAAMs for self-defense. AIM-9X Sidewinders for close combat. But the primary weapon is the aircraft itself. Its stealth, its sensors, its ability to see without being seen. 5:23 a.m. launch. 4 F-35Bs take off from USS America. Vertical takeoff, transition to conventional flight. They climb to 35,000 feet. Form up, head south. The mission is planned meticulously. The aircraft will approach Venezuelan airspace from different angles. Probe the HQ-9 coverage from multiple vectors. If one aircraft gets detected, the others continue. Gather as much data as possible. Comment if you'd fly a stealth fighter into hostile airspace to test enemy radar. 5:51 a.m. first approach. Call sign Reaper 1 approaches from the northwest. Distance to Venezuelan coast, 80 miles. The pilot's radar warning receiver is active. Monitoring all frequencies. Looking for enemy radar emissions. At 60 miles, the first signal appears. Search radar. HQ-9 battery is active. Scanning. The radar is powerful, but it's using standard search mode. Nothing special. Reaper 1's stealth characteristics are working. No indication of detection. 50 miles. Still nothing. The HQ-9 radar sweeps past, doesn't lock. The pilot continues inbound. 40 miles. He's now inside the nominal detection range for conventional aircraft. An F-16 would be lit up by now. Multiple radar locks. SAMs would be launching. But the F-35B is invisible. The radar sweeps past again. No lock. No tracking. The Chinese system can't see the stealth fighter. 30 miles. He's getting close now. This is risky. If the Venezuelans realize an aircraft is approaching, they might launch missiles blindly. Spray and pray. Hope to get lucky. But that doesn't happen. Reaper 1 continues to 25 miles, then turns away. Mission complete for this vector. The HQ-9 never detected him. 6:03 a.m. second approach. Reaper 2 comes from the northeast. Different angle. Different radar aspect. Maybe this vector will be detected. Same result. 60 miles. 50 miles. 40 miles. The HQ-9 radar sweeps continuously. Never locks. Never tracks. The F-35B remains invisible. At 22 miles, Reaper 2 turns away. Collected data. Zero detection. Third and fourth aircraft repeat the pattern. Different approach angles. Same result. The HQ-9 cannot detect F-35s. Not at long range. Not at medium range. Not at close range. China's claims about stealth detection are false, at least for the export version of HQ-9. The system is blind to fifth-generation stealth aircraft. That's valuable intelligence, but the mission isn't over. 6:17 a.m. The accident occurs. Reaper 3 is on egress, heading back to USS America. He's 18 miles off the Venezuelan coast, still in international airspace. Mission complete. Data collected. Then his navigation system glitches, or appears to. The GPS coordinates shift. The autopilot responds. The aircraft turns south, directly toward Venezuela. Within 45 seconds, Reaper 3 crosses into Venezuelan airspace. Now he's 12 miles inland, over sovereign territory. This is a violation of international law. Was it really an accident? Or carefully planned? The pilot will later claim system malfunction. The Venezuelans will claim deliberate provocation. Only a few people in the Pentagon know the truth. 6:18 a.m. Venezuelan air defense reacts. The HQ-9 systems are on high alert. Something feels wrong. No radar contacts. But the Chinese advisors sense unusual activity. Electronic warfare signatures. Subtle distortions in the radar picture. When Reaper 3 crosses into Venezuelan airspace, the decision is made. Active measures. The HQ-9 switches from search mode to engagement mode. More powerful emissions. Higher frequency. Designed to burn through jamming and detect low observable targets. The radar locks onto something. Not a solid contact. More like a ghost. A faint return at the edge of detection. But it's there. Target acquired. 12 miles inland. Altitude 32,000 feet. Speed 450 knots. The Venezuelan battery commander requests permission to engage. Caracas approves. Shoot down the intruder. 6:19 a.m. missile launch. 2 HQ-9 missiles launch from the TL. They climb rapidly. Radar guidance brings them toward the target area. But the lock is weak. The missiles are chasing a ghost. Reaper 3's defensive systems activate. Electronic warfare. The F-35s HQ-239 suite jams the incoming missiles, spoofs them, creates false targets. The pilot doesn't panic. He's trained for this. Full afterburner. Dive to low altitude. Use terrain masking. Get out of the engagement zone. The F-35B accelerates. Mach 1.2. Diving. The missiles follow. But their radar guidance is confused. Multiple targets appear on their seekers. Which is real? At 8,000 feet, Reaper 3 levels off, hugging the terrain. The mountains of northern Venezuela provide radar shadows. The HQ-9 missiles lose track. They overshoot, detonate harmlessly 6 miles away. Reaper 3 exits Venezuelan airspace, crosses into international waters, safe. But the encounter is recorded, by both sides. Venezuela claims they engaged an American stealth aircraft, proves the HQ-9 can detect F-35s. They have radar data showing the engagement. The United States denies everything. Navigation error. The aircraft never intentionally entered Venezuelan airspace. Claims of detection are false. The HQ-9 missiles missed by miles. The truth is somewhere in between. Wait for what the electronic intelligence reveals. It changes everything about Chinese air defense. 6:35 a.m. USS America recovers the aircraft. All 4 F-35Bs land safely. The pilots debrief immediately. Intelligence officers download sensor data from the aircraft. Hundreds of gigabytes. Radar emissions. Electronic warfare logs. Everything. The analysis takes hours, but the conclusions are clear. 1. The HQ-9 cannot reliably detect F-35s in standard search mode. The stealth works as designed. 2. In high-power engagement mode, the HQ-9 achieved brief intermittent tracking. Not solid lock, but enough to launch missiles. 3. The missiles themselves cannot effectively track stealth aircraft. Their terminal guidance is easily jammed. 4. Overall assessment. HQ-9 is not a significant threat to F-35 operations. The stealth advantage remains intact. That's the intelligence the Pentagon needed. Confirms that American fifth-generation aircraft can operate against Chinese air defense, even the most advanced systems China exports. But there's more. The electronic intelligence reveals something unexpected. May 20th. Detailed analysis. The radar emissions captured by the F-35s contain signatures, unique characteristics, waveforms, modulation patterns. This data can be used to develop countermeasures. Electronic warfare systems can be programmed to specifically jam HQ-9 radars. More importantly, the data reveals that the HQ-9B in Venezuela is identical to systems deployed in China. Not downgraded export version. Full capability system. That means American aircraft can train against the real thing. Develop tactics. Refine procedures. Every HQ-9 battery in the world just became more vulnerable, because the United States now knows exactly how it operates. That's the real victory, not just confirming stealth works, but gathering the intelligence to defeat the system entirely. May 21st, Chinese response. Beijing is furious. They know what happened. 4 F-35s probed their air defense system. One, accidentally, entered Venezuelan airspace. The whole thing was a setup, an intelligence operation. China's foreign ministry issues a statement. The United States conducted illegal reconnaissance over Venezuelan territory. This violates international law. China condemns this provocation. The statement continues. The HQ-9 system successfully detected and engaged the intruding aircraft. The American stealth advantage is overstated. Chinese technology is capable of defending against any threat. That's propaganda, but it plays well domestically. Chinese citizens believe their military technology is competitive with American systems. The government wants to maintain that perception. The reality is different. The HQ-9 failed. The missiles missed. The F-35s escaped unscathed. China's air defense technology is a generation behind. But admitting that publicly is impossible. So they claim success and hope nobody looks too closely at the details. Who won this intelligence battle? A. U.S. collects data. B. China proves capability. C. Both. Vote now. May 23rd, Venezuela demands answers. Maduro's government is angry. They paid billions for Chinese air defense. They were promised it could detect stealth aircraft. The May 19th incident proves otherwise. Venezuelan military officials meet with Chinese advisors. Your system doesn't work. The American aircraft penetrated our airspace repeatedly. Your radars saw nothing. The Chinese respond carefully. The HQ-9 requires optimal deployment, proper integration. Your operators need more training. The system is capable, but you must use it correctly. Translation: it's Venezuela's fault, not China's. But Maduro isn't stupid. He understands what happened. The HQ-9 is not as advertised. China sold Venezuela a system that cannot defend against American aircraft. The billions spent are wasted. But he can't say that publicly. China is Venezuela's most important ally. Criticizing them risks losing Chinese support. So Maduro stays quiet, accepts the situation, hopes the American aircraft don't come back. They will, because now the U.S. knows the HQ-9 is no threat. June 2025, new American flight patterns. U.S. reconnaissance aircraft begin operating closer to Venezuelan airspace, sometimes inside it. Navigation errors become frequent. The aircraft collect intelligence, monitor military facilities, track Chinese activities. Venezuela protests, scrambles fighters, activates air defense, but they don't shoot, because they know the American aircraft are invisible to their radars. Launching missiles would waste ammunition and reveal their impotence. The psychological advantage shifts to the United States. Venezuela has advanced air defense, but it's useless against American stealth. Everyone knows it. July 2025, Taiwan implications. The intelligence from Venezuela travels to Taiwan. American defense officials brief their Taiwanese counterparts. The HQ-9 cannot effectively engage F-35s. If China attacks Taiwan, their air defense won't stop American intervention. This is critical for Taiwan's security. China has hundreds of HQ-9 batteries. They're a key component of China's anti-access area denial strategy. If American stealth aircraft can penetrate them, China's entire defensive concept is compromised. Taiwan's confidence increases. American commitment to defend Taiwan seems more credible. Because the weapon systems work, the stealth technology is proven. August 2025, China's response. Beijing accelerates development of new air defense systems. The HQ-19, the HQ-29, next-generation radars, higher frequencies, better processing. They need to counter American stealth. But development takes years. In the meantime, Chinese air defense is vulnerable. That window of vulnerability is dangerous. If conflict occurs before new systems deploy, China might lose. That makes China more cautious about Taiwan, more willing to negotiate, less likely to escalate. The May 19th incident in Venezuela affects calculations thousands of miles away. September 2025, the broader picture. Navy warfare has the strategic assessment. The Venezuelan test mission accomplished multiple objectives. 1. Confirmed F-35 stealth effectiveness against Chinese air defense. 2. Gathered detailed electronic intelligence on HQ-9 systems. 3. Demonstrated American capability to operate in contested airspace. 4. Undermined confidence in Chinese weapons exports. 5. Strengthened deterrence in the Taiwan scenario. All achieved with 1 accidental airspace violation and 4 stealthy overflights. 0 casualties. 0 combat. Maximum intelligence value. This is 21st century military operations, not massive battles, not invasions, but carefully calibrated demonstrations of technological superiority, information gathering, psychological operations. The F-35 proved its worth, not by shooting down enemies, but by being invisible to them, by rendering billion-dollar air defense systems useless, by collecting intelligence that shapes strategies worldwide. Justified intelligence gathering or provocative violation? Comment J for justified, P for provocative. October 2025, Venezuela's dilemma. Maduro faces a choice: continue hosting Chinese military systems that don't work, or negotiate with the United States for sanctions relief? The calculus is changing. Chinese support comes with strings, debt, dependence, and weapons that can't defend against American threats. Maybe rapprochement with Washington is better. Quiet negotiations begin. Venezuelan officials meet American counterparts in neutral locations. The message: Venezuela wants to reduce Chinese military presence. In exchange, they want sanctions lifted. The United States is interested. Removing Chinese systems from Venezuela is a strategic win, worth some economic concessions. By November, a framework emerges. Venezuela will not renew Chinese military contracts. Existing systems will be phased out. In return, some U.S. sanctions are lifted. Oil exports resume at limited levels. China protests, but they can't force Venezuela to keep systems that don't work. The relationship deteriorates. December 2025, 6 months after the test. The HQ-9 batteries in Venezuela are being packed up, returned to China. The deployment was a failure, militarily, politically, economically. China learned that their air defense technology is inadequate. The United States learned exactly how inadequate. Everyone gained intelligence, but China lost credibility. Venezuela learned that great powers use small countries for their competition. And when those small countries become liabilities, they're abandoned. The Caribbean returns to American sphere of influence. Not through invasion, not through coups, through technological superiority demonstrated in one carefully executed intelligence mission. This is what Navy warfare covers: the operations most people never hear about, the reconnaissance missions, the electronic intelligence gathering, the accidents that aren't accidents. May 19, 2025. 4 F-35Bs tested Chinese air defense in Venezuela, proved American stealth works, collected priceless intelligence, changed strategic calculations worldwide. All in one morning, all without firing a shot. Subscribe to Navy Warfare, because the most important victories happen in peacetime. The intelligence gathered, the capabilities demonstrated, the conflicts prevented through technological superiority. The Venezuelan test mission is over. The HQ-9 is defeated. Chinese influence in the Caribbean is declining. American F-35s proved their worth. Real stealth, real intelligence, real coverage. Navy warfare.